Welcome back to the series of the Ancient Mysteries of the Stone Circles. If you haven't watched already, I highly recommend watching our first episode on Stonehenge, where we explore the secrets of one of the most famous Neolithic structures in the world. It sets stage for what we are about to discover today, so pause here, go out and check episode 1 and then come back to join us on this journey. Today we journey deeper into the English countryside to uncover the secrets of another ancient wonder, one that is even larger and perhaps more mysterious. Just 17 miles from Stonehenge lies Avebury Henge, the largest Neolithic stone structure in the world, originally constructed with hundreds of massive stones. Avebury is 16 times larger than Stonehenge and dates back around 4,500 years ago, slightly later than its more famous neighbor. Interestingly, the Avebury story wouldn't have been fully uncovered without the efforts of Alexander Keeler. He purchased Avebury Manor and the surrounding estate in the 1920s, conducting excavations from 1925 to 1939. Keeler's passion for archaeology and preservation led him to acquire the land, ensuring it remained accessible to the public and protected as part of his nation's heritage. Today, the area has been transformed into a museum, which where we are now. So without Keeler, we wouldn't have access to this site and be able to discover of the mystery of the Avebury Stonehenge Circle. So special thanks to Keeler and allowing us to discover and explore this area. Welcome to another episode of the series of the Stone Circle, and today I've come to the Avebury Stone Circle. So last episode you have learned a bit about the Stonehenge Circle, and now we're at the Avebury. And just for your information, guys, this is the oldest and I can't say the oldest, but the biggest stone circle in Europe and the biggest in the UK. So today I've come to find out in terms of why the stone circle was built and why it's so big. Well, one of the informations I got to tell you guys is this stone circle is 350 diameters, and that's pretty big. And in the middle of it, they have two large stones and they have small stones circled around it. Hopefully I can show you an aerial viewpoint of how the stone circle looked like. But on the right over here, guys, what was interesting to me is there's a huge dung. So let me grab the camera and show you how the dung looks like. So as you can see here, you got small stones all the way circling around the area. And in the middle, maybe later on I can show you the large stone. And in the middle of it, guys, they have built a village, and that's where the Neolithic people lived there. So one thing I forgot to tell you in this video was this was built also by the Neolithic people around the same age of the Stonehenges. So this is roughly around 4,500 years old, which is slightly newer than the Stonehenge place. But yeah, on the right of me, you got dungs. So look how deep that is, guys. I don't know if I can show you visually on the camera of how deep that underground is. So one of the reasons this could have been built is, which I think is military reasons, because there are dungs, so it will slow down the people getting in the middle of the village. And you can see it on the front of me, the village. Whoops. So that's the village of the houses. And there were a lot of stones built here. So I don't know roughly how many stones, but there are many, but I'll put it underneath the video. And a lot of these stones are missing during the time from the Stone Ages till now. Some of them are missing. And some of them, they have discovered them underneath the ground, hidden. I don't know why they were hidden, or is it just because people didn't use it? Some of the stones have been used to build houses for the barns, just standard houses, which I can show you later on, which is quite interesting to see here. But the biggest question is, look how big these stones are. Yeah, so look how big these stones are. Some of these stones were 60,000 tons, and they're the size of almost 2 double-deckers, which is quite huge. So you must question yourself, how did these Neolithic people build these? How did they carry these stones across and make into a perfect circle? I don't know. Maybe it might be the same method used as the Stonehenges. But hopefully I can try and find out more about the mystery of these ancient monuments of the stone circle. But yeah, it's quite interesting how they have built it around a circle with a little dunge, I could call it, around the circle. So yeah, let's discover in this episode and try and solve the mystery of why these stone circles are here and why there are many built around the UK. Hopefully in this series, me and you can try and discover of why these stones are here and they've been placed in this way at certain areas. And again, this place is built in a place with high energy, with telluric currents. If you don't believe me, you can research yourself. All right, Yanagan investigates. So let's have a closer look at the stones. My dad's saying this is made out of cement, but I don't think cement was discovered in the 5,000 years ago. To me, it looks like stone. I don't know where my dad's getting cement from. Dad, where's the cement? That looks like stone. Let me get you a closer picture. Let me know what you guys think. Is this made out of cement or is it just stones, natural stones, stone formation? But yeah, let me just give you a picture of how big these stones are and how weird it is they've been standing here for no reason. So guys, look, just for a comparison of my human height, I'm 176 centimeters and compare it to this stone. How did the people from 5,000 years ago or 4,005 years ago lift this heavy thing up and made it stand straight and also in a perfect circle? How did they measure that? How did the people measure the equally distance, like 350 meters from each other diameter, and made it perfect like a circle? How did the people in those days measure these things? These are questions that are running through my head. Were this actually built by people, or were it extraterrestrial aliens? Let's say aliens. Were these aliens? I don't know. But yeah, on the right you can see how high the hill is. So you can see people there, and there are dunes. Like there's a big hole underneath. I don't know if it's military purpose or religious reasons, but we're going to discover more. There are a lot of hints given to us during those different time periods, because among these time periods there were scientists trying to discover what the reasons are of the circle. But yeah, let's discover and find out more. You might be wondering why the video has cut and what I'm doing in my room now. Well, it's simple. Sometimes we don't have all the answers on site, and that's okay. So I'm here doing a bit of research and give you the answers. Sometimes we need to take a step back, do some research and dig a little deeper. It's part of the journey. In the previous clip, my dad mentions that some of these stones look like they were made out of cement. At first I wasn't sure, but after doing some research I've learned it's not quite the case. What he saw was likely the stone's bases or plinths, which marks the original stones once stood. Over time, many of these original stones were removed or destroyed, but archaeologists have placed these markers to show where they once stood. It helps us to visualize how Avebury Henge would have looked like thousands of years ago, even if the original stones are no longer there. Another question I had in the last clip was how these massive stones were moved into place. It's hard to imagine how people thousands of years ago, without modern machinery, could transport such enormous rocks. Much like Stonehenge, it's believed that these stones were likely transported using wooden sleds and ropes, pulled by large groups of people. Some archaeologists suggest that logs were placed beneath the sled to help roll the stones along. It's possible that in later centuries stones were moved by moving trucks. The process would have required enormous coordination and effort. And here, just as another example, this is of another much bigger stone. It's the size of 2 double-decker buses, so you can see here my height and a stone. But by the looks of it, this stone is not part of the circle and it looks like it's been moved. And a question arises, why have they been moved and how have they been moved? I don't know. Those questions I still need to find out, and maybe in the third episode, when I go to another stone circle, I'll be able to explain it by doing a bit more research. But as you can see here, this place has been used for religious purposes. So as you know, the pagans, they come and pray here. So you can see here they have left some food and some flowers. So they've used this place as a religious place. Because you know, pagans, they pray to things that they give them life or energy in order to survive. So it can be in terms of the sun, stones or food. But yeah, here are a few remains reminding us why the stone circles are here, or could be a reason. But yeah, let's go to another place and explore a bit more about the stone circles and get to know more about this place. Well, not just the stones itself, but just the surroundings. Alright guys, I've come to a higher viewpoint so you can have a better visualization in terms of the circle. So as you can see here behind me, you can see the dung of how deep it is from this hill and how the circle goes. So this is just a visualization for you guys just to imagine how big the circle is, rather than giving you numbers. But yeah, it's just quite interesting how big the dungeons are in terms of how deep it goes underground. And it makes me think this could have been built for military reasons, because it's quite deep. So imagine me going to a war and raiding that village. I have to come all the way down, going up, and in the meantime the people can stop me from going there. So might be a reason, or it could be religious reasons, because temples and churches were quite, well, they weren't temples, but like religious places were built quite high up in a protective manner. But yeah, this is just a view for you guys, just to gather of how it looks like visually and how big the circle is. And on the right, over there, the circle keeps on going. You can see that. And some of the stones, they're not part of the circle, as you can see, because during the time period, people have taken those stones and misplaced them around different areas. I don't know what reason. Maybe they have used those stones for personal reasons, such as building houses, or I don't know, they just took the stone away. But yeah, that's all I can give you in terms of the information. And guys, behind me there's 6,000 years old of mystery of the Nephilim people of Avebury. Unfortunately, this area has been closed off for corrosion control, because there's a lot of corrosion-based material there, so they want that to be protected and not people interfere with it. So unfortunately, we can't discover that area behind the banks of what's going on. Maybe next time, or maybe we might have an opportunity in the future to discover that area. But right now, as from now on, we can't discover that area. But let's move on and explore more about the stone circles in Avebury. So we're going more closer in, or maybe further away from the stone circle, I don't know. Well, what I can tell you here, we've got sheep here in this area. I don't know if I can capture in this camera. And behind me, there's an ancient old tree, where you can see the roots. Let's check it out. Many people, they're doing a prayer, the pagans, and then they're celebrating the mark of the autumn. I don't know if I can find more information, but we'll see. Guys, this ancient old tree has been marked using ribbons. What does this tree hidden meaning behind it? Does it give energy? We don't know. Guys, I think this is an excellent meditation place. As you know, back in the days, Buddha used to meditate underneath a tree. I think that's what these people are replicating. But yeah, meditation is good. It calms your mind and makes your mind clearer, and you can take a bath. I'm just looking around, guys. Sorry if I'm not focused on the camera too much, because there's people around, there's animals, and the ground is not level. So that's why I'm constantly looking around my surroundings. You can see here the dungs keep on going, and look how big the stone circle is. You literally don't know how big it is, like, until you come here. So I highly recommend you to come here and visit this place itself. And it's a good place to meditate, have fresh food, organic food. But yeah, this is how big the ancient tree is. I'll put a description down below this video if I know a bit more about this ancient tree and why people used to meditate. Guys, you know, earlier on I didn't know what tree that was, but apparently that is the healing tree. So people go there to meditate to heal themselves. So if you have any mental health problems, or if you're going through a tough time, or you feel physically ill, people come there and meditate, and apparently it helps to regenerate yourself. So yeah, that's a bit of information I learned along this journey and the mystery. So I don't know how long the healing tree's been there, but if I found some information, you can see it below here of the information about the healing tree. But yeah, the stone circles carry on, as you can see here. But now, another question remains for me is, how do the Neolithic people look like? Well, scientists have been able to do a 3D model of how the Neolithic people look like based on the findings from the grounds. So let me show you around how this person could have looked like. So this is the type of clothing they wore and how the Neolithic person may have looked like. Interesting. Earlier in the video, I thought Avebury massive banks might have been for defense, but after exploring more, I realized that's not the case. The circle has 4 large gaps, or entrances, suggest it was meant to welcome people, not keep them out. Originally, these banks were 11 meters deep, but archaeologist Alexander Keeler later filled them in to protect locals from falling. So while they might look imposing, Avebury wasn't a fortress. It was a place for gathering and ceremony. We have come to the end of this episode, and what an extraordinary journey it's been. This Neolithic landscape is remarkable, not just for Avebury itself, but for the numerous prehistoric monuments surrounding it. Within just a mile and a half of this stone circle, you'll find the Adam and Eve stones, the Long Stones, Long Barrow, and the West Kennet Avenue. Together, these sites form a dense cluster of Neolithic activity, all to believe to share a connection with an Avebury. And a short distance from the Henge stands Salisbury Hill, the largest man-made mound in Europe, made entirely of earth and stones. Its purpose remains a mystery. Was it a ceremonial, or perhaps a marker of some kind? And that's all, guys. Hopefully you have learned a bit more about the stone circles in Avebury, and that's it for the end of episode 2. There will be an episode 3 coming out for the stone circle, but further up north, and this will be around the Derby region. And I'm planning to do this in terms of a 4 episode series, and the last episode will be in Scotland. One day it'll be taken.